Welcome to Vol Stars, a GammaStrike production.
Welcome to Vol Stars, where we talk everything markets and those who make them. Today's episode is brought to you by Uncle Plowman's Porcine Semen. If you want to maximize the size and quality of your next piglet brood, reach for a jar of Uncle Plowman's Big Daddy Pig Mayo, a 400 milliliter shot of highly concentrated 90% motile sperm, guaranteed. Pig mayo is extracted and bottled with exceptional hygienic standards, buffered to a slightly acidic pH, and maintained at 17C to maximize shelf life and viability. Our boars are selected for prime age, housed in a low-stress, temperature-controlled environment, and fed a high-fat diet to protect against oxidative damage and lipid degradation. This Father's Day, if you feel like a fat slob who has spent their entire life wasting away indoors, take solace in the fact that you would probably make a pretty great pig daddy. And finally, by GammaStrike.com, providing actual real-time data for every type of trader. You've tried the rest, now try the best. GammaStrike.com. I'm Jay Fresh, and I'm joined by my fellow pig daddy hosts, Gherkin and Dork, neither of which are fathers. I'm the only pig daddy here. Well, Ron is too.
Happy
but
Pig
he's a
Daddy Day.
producer, so. Okay, let's. Yeah. I was like, what's an interesting way for me to call our listener a worthless sperm donor? And this is what I came up with. Speaking of Father's Day, I was talking this morning with my wife, and we were imagining what it'd be like if our unfortunately neutered golden retriever, if he was a father, what he'd be like. And we agreed he'd be a great father. And then I started coming up with golden retriever dad jokes. Would you like to hear a golden retriever dad joke?
Sure.
Yes,
Okay.
tentatively.
What did the golden retriever say after? Yeah, what did the golden retriever say after he caught his tail?
What?
Ouch, my tail hurts.
God damn it, Jay Fresh.
Okay,
no more of those.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, it's pretty dad-like. Yeah. Okay, you're on. It never ends.
The father of the Strait of Hormuz.
Is it open?
Great question, actually.
Yesn't?
Well,
Wait, are
it
futures
is.
open?
It is. Hold on. Yeah, I was gonna say it's after Sunday at 6 p.m. So yes, and it will be open until Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time when CME closes. Yeah.
And anytime the market or any financial asset looks like it'll go down a little bit,
It's even more open.
The Strait magically opens.
So it's open even wider. It's where
if
that's when Trump says start your engines.
A company that is in Trump's portfolio goes down, then the Strait reopens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, really, like when you think about it.
And we are going to talk about that a little bit later because it was a stupid bet. I know it's not on the list, but I'm going to throw it in there. But back to what Trump owning things. But anyway, okay. So the Strait of, okay, seriously, is it open? I've heard conflicting things. So obviously IRCG says it's closed. It sounds like Iran's parliament says it's open-ish. The U.S. has claimed that they have found a path through the mines on the southern side of the strait and have been navigating it with tankers or ships of some vessels of some kind.
I mean, didn't you hear that Trump said that
both open and closed?
Ships have been passing through the Strait of Iran or the Strait of Hormuz the entire time. You just didn't know about it.
Yeah, and people are mixed on that too, but it's like where's the source of truth? Is there a source of truth at this point? Where
The
do we
problem I
get?
had with Trump's
We
statement
need.
about
Where's
that
that? Where's that?
is if straits were passing through, was he blockading it? Is he not blockading it? Like, is he denying that he blockaded it? Because he blockaded the blockade, but secretly ships have been passing through the whole time, making the blockade of the blockade not there.
It's a semi-permeable blockade. It's so
Yeah, I
basically
was going
what
to say a
happens is
porous.
So were the
blockade,
ships
yeah.
moving
yeah, when the
through
salt
via
content of the
osmosis?
one side.
Oh, I see.
That's
So
like,
they were just
yes.
dumping the oil into the strait and then picking it up on the other side.
Yes.
Okay. That makes
Yeah,
way
you
more
just count
sense.
it as you pick it up. Yeah. So they say like
Yeah.
we dropped 1,000 oil, and then you say, okay, we picked up 1,000 oil. It's all here.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. I just,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's really frustrating. I know there's always a lot of propaganda and things in any time of war, but this just feels, I don't know, it feels maybe even more gaslighty than like COVID when Trump was coming out every day and saying weird shit about bleach and sunlight and things and COVID and talking about what was actually happening or not happening. But at least during COVID, we had data that everybody more or less believed, right? I mean, people didn't, we fought over, people had disagreements about the efficacy of the, um, the vaccine that was developed. People had disagreements over like the death rate, the mortality rate, and like obviously there's still even some lingering disagreements about like whether or not long COVID is real or how effective like ivermectin is. That's fine. We can all disagree over like that stuff. But what nobody really disagreed about was how many people were in a hospital at any given point in time because we had the data.
Yeah.
And so you contrast that to the Strait of Hormuz, and nobody can actually like if somebody comes to you and quotes, it says, my Bloomberg terminal said 3 ships passed through the Strait of Hormuz yesterday. Most people will be like, well, that's not reliable. I don't believe you. Nobody knows how many ships went through the strait. Like, it just seems unbelievable to me that as a society, like as a world, we've accepted that there is no reliable measure of how many ships are actually going through that fucking strait and what's
There's a
going on there.
live map of the number of ships crossing the strait. Like, you just watch it. And you
I
be like,
get that.
there's one.
But
And then it goes,
that requires what? Like who's making the map?
well, the ships have
Where do the
GPS
symbols come
trackers,
from? Does it
but there's some argument that those
which
trackers
they can
aren't
turn
being
off,
used. Yeah.
right? Yeah,
I
right.
mean, you could just send someone
And
there with a
that's
fucking camera. It's only 30 miles wide.
you know what? In every other war, there always is like a bunch of insane people from CNN who are like somehow on the front lines. Where are those
Yeah,
people in the
yeah.
street?
They're
How does
busy. They're
CNN
busy and
and
like,
Fox and all these people, how do they not have people literally camped out on the fucking hill with a telescope?
because their bosses are like, don't do that shit.
You know who does have those people out there? BlackRock.
Yes, actually. I guarantee you there is a fucking team of hedge fund
Yeah.
interns sitting in like fucking UAE right now with binoculars counting the fucking crossings.
Right, yeah, surrounded by like what's the name of the
Piles
mercenary
of
group? Those guys
Adderall.
hanging out with them, keeping them safe.
What? Oh. Keeping them safe. You don't
Yeah,
keep
I forget their
interns
name.
safe. What are you
But
talking about?
oh, I forgot. They were interns. Ugh.
Yeah, I feel like this is, and obviously I'm armchair experting here, but this seems like a huge failure of the media at large to not be able to provide a number. And I don't know, maybe nobody would even believe the media at this point, right? I mean,
That's
maybe,
the point.
Fox would publish one number and CNN would publish another, or maybe there's just no way to know what is actually real anymore. I don't know.
I mean, the
I guess
media is
we could-
controlled by a very small amount of billionaires, so
We could get Dork out there with one of those, like, those pool ropes that have like the little floaties on them that they use to divide the lanes, and just have him fucking make the swim across and lay it down, and then anytime it like does like a bob, we can be like, oh, there's one. And we
You
could
know
we
what?
could even
This actually kind of sounds like Dan work.
I don't know if I'd
yeah,
trust
Brandon, it
Dan
sounds
with
like prop fouling.
Can't trust Dan's being wet.
It's true.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah,
But it's also true.
and hanging out in canals.
Okay, so the Strait of Hormuz open, yesn't? Maybe int? Maybe who knows? Who the fuck knows?
Well, I think we have to get to the actual $500 billion amount before
I guess
Iran will
it
agree
also
to it.
depends on
Maybe
who
we
you
could give them
ask.
more money.
Right? If you ask Trump, the Strait of Hormuz has been open the whole time. If you ask the Iranian parliament, it's not really open, but there's a framework to open it. And then if you ask the IRGC, it's fucking closed. Now, of those three groups, only two of them have missiles and mines, and then only one of them has mines in the strait.
Hmm.
So do with that information
So who do
what
we
you will,
believe?
I suppose.
So, do we trust the price of oil? Does the price of oil tell us? Okay, here's
No,
another way
no.
to
Well,
ask.
I mean, what are you looking at? You're looking at the future price of oil.
Yeah, but is the price of oil at any tenor, is that telling us something about reality? Is the market actually the realist indicator of reality here, or is it being manipulated?
Rarely. Well, I mean, futures are the future reality, or at least what everyone hopes for. The physical price of oil is probably somewhat reflective. But yeah, I mean, that's also, but it's also like highly demand driven. So, I mean, nobody's refilling their reserves right now, which could, that could mean that like physical oil prices are muted because the demand hasn't picked up yet. Because they want to wait till future oil prices fall in order to push demand up. But I mean, every country in the world has drawn down their strategic oil reserves pretty substantially during this whole altercation. I mean, didn't Trump come out on the news like the other day and say the quiet part out loud? Like we had like 4 weeks of oil left in the SPR.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's another big thing too, is that we're drawing all this oil down to dangerously low levels just for maintaining the infrastructure, and we're going to have to buy oil. Like everybody's going to have to be a buyer of oil to refill it.
We're drawing it down to stabilize the inflation, and that's not even they're not even they're not even doing an impressive job with that. Inflation's sky high.
Well, that was what Biden did, right? I mean, that killed the inflation in 2022. It started dropping halfway through, right, when he started selling off the SPR, which was
we also
a
did it at the top.
large sell-off. Yeah, sure. He sold it into high demand, right? We're selling it into low supply.
Yeah, that's a bit different.
So I agree, definitely different. The challenge being that Biden didn't leave a whole lot of room, a whole lot of wiggle room. And I was just kind of thinking about this the other day, is that economies everywhere are full of buffers and full of risk management systems to fight against bad things that might happen. And I was thinking to myself, at some point, the economy was such that people were creating and filling buffers. They were creating risk management structures to improve our risk management situation. And it seems like over the past 20 years, most of my, adult life where I was paying attention, we've just been drawing down all of these different risk management buffers. We're always drawing down. We're never building up. And that seems worrisome to me that there's this longer trend of just extracting from all of our buffers. And at some point, all the buffers are going to disappear. Like Trump says in 4 weeks, when the buffers disappear, oil's going to spike
Yeah, JFresh, but why the fuck are you trying to get in the way of number go uppies?
because it's not real. The stuff that buffered everything was real, and we're selling all that.
Yeah, because number should go up. If number doesn't go up, then we're all fucked.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Shut the
well,
fuck up. Keep buying your
the
fucking
amount of
stock.
ongoing debt issuance, if number doesn't go up, people are going to get real freaked the fuck out because
That's what I
everyone's holding the
mean.
fucking bags for
That's
this
what I mean.
rollout. I can't wait for semis to crash. Did you guys hear that China has an ASML machine? Their most advanced one.
I did
What
hear about
happens?
that. Yeah.
What happens when China starts shitting out like
Um,
2 nanometer chips all over the fucking place? You think you'll be able to sell a Blackwell for
what
130
happens
grand
when they
then?
reverse engineer it and what happens if they reverse engineer it and just steal all the IP?
Yeah. You mean the software as a service
Well, you know
that
what's going to happen is it's going to get banned in the
Anthropic is selling?
USA.
Oh no, we can't buy
No, no, no,
Chinese
no, no.
memory.
I mean, ASML. Uh, I mean, a lot of that is just technical innovation. Like, yeah, they've locked it all up in IP, but most of it's just knowledge, right? They just know
ASML
what
is
it
a
takes to
European
get down to
company,
2 nanometers.
right?
I know.
Yeah, they don't fucking have
Yeah.
to, they're not restricted by Trump's. What if ASML just sold them the fucking machine? What if they were like, here, fuck Trump over? Anybody think about
I don't
that?
know.
Like, what if Iran
So you're
and
so
Europe
JFresh, you're saying
just 1-2 punch our current administration? This is the only leg Trump's got left to stand on. I mean, he's clearly not a military
just
strategist. So he's just like, the economy's great. But like, I mean, if China starts
I just
shitting out chips, then
so if China reverse engineered ASML's machines, then we would probably see a massive drop in semi costs, except in the USA. That's all I'll say about that. Because guaranteed that we're going to ban that any Chinese product that has the same sort of capability.
Yeah, I don't know how far it would propagate outside of China, but certainly China's a huge market, right? And they could easily say, okay, all you Chinese citizens, you have to buy the Chinese version.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, big challenge there. I mean, certainly, just thinking about the existing order, I think if there's one thing that Trump has done is he has upended social norms and the existing order, and there will be a new equilibrium that will not look like the previous equilibrium. Thinking about, okay, we're going to be refilling these strategic petroleum reserves around the globe probably for years. I mean, we're going to be trying to refill them, right? It's like, although at the same time, it's like the Fed's trying to, raise rates and reduce the balance sheet without blowing everything up. They try to do it slowly over years, and then inevitably they increase the balance sheet even more than they had originally, right? Because something happens, and so maybe we'll never refill our SPRs, and I just don't see, outside of complete abrupt demand destruction that may or may not be in the process of occurring. I don't see oil going back to like $50, $60 a barrel because there's so much underlying demand to refill these reserves, unless we just all choose as a globe to not have reserves anymore.
There's a thought.
Yeah,
More
I
debt,
don't
less
know.
assets.
Mhm.
So I mean,
Yeah,
the economics of things, we think about, yes, the US is a huge exporter of crude. A lot of it is extracted via fracking, which is more expensive than what it costs to pump it out of the ground in the Middle East. And so if the price of crude goes too low, it's like gold mines. The gold mines stop mining gold when gold gets too low.
that's OPEC's
um,
entire job.
and so there are structural lower limits to where oil can go in terms of supply and demand. Like if demand gets too low, like supply naturally shuts off as well. So yeah, I'm really not sure how we even got down to $60 a barrel of oil to begin with. Other than we've been in a recession for the last few years. And yeah, but anyway, okay. So Strait of Hormuz, nobody has any idea. What about the peace agreement? How's that going? You have one more thing to say about oil, or you're about to
No,
go
I
take?
just need 1 second.
Okay, he's
One.
gonna go take a big poopy during our.
I mean, the
Okay,
peace that
so
we're no, it's not a peace agreement. It's a memorandum of understanding.
yeah, peas in the Middle East are gonna start growing sweet peas in the Middle East.
Peas in the Middle
What did
East.
you
I love it.
guys think they were talking about?
I don't know. I thought they were talking about the U.S. giving Iran an unbelievably huge sum of money.
Well, they are apparently talking it out in Geneva, Switzerland. And before Girk gets back, Ron, hit it.
Kushner goes to
Geneva.
went there last week, now he's going again. Kushner goes to
Geneva.
there is no discussion, there isn't a plan. Axios is running out of headlines to run. Is that another fireball or just glare from the sun? Preemptively defending our undeployed daughters and sons. And he keeps sending Jared for fun just because Trump sends him to the front lines like Uriah the Hittite, so he can spend more time with Ivanka in the night. Iran isn't budging and he's got Epstein files to hide. So Kushner goes to
Geneva.
he's dying inside.
I'm gonna spam that song till the end of time until we have 0 listener. Okay, so we're in Geneva. It seems like it is confirmed that Iran, although they have stormed out multiple times and threatened not to even go, they are there. JD Vance is there. I'm sure Kushner is there in the corner with his pants off doing something. No, he's probably got a coloring book or something. He's busy. Um, but what's the stat? Do we know what the status is? I mean, it seems like to me we're getting a lot of talk from Pakistan and what was it, Qatar, but not a lot of talk from like Iran and the US or Israel. And I don't think Israel's even there. And it seems like they're mostly, if of what they've potentially been talking about, it's been mostly um, Lebanon stuff, which is all between Israel and Hezbollah. And as far as I know, neither Israel nor Hezbollah are at these talks.
Since the beginning of March, I'm pretty sure Israel has killed something like 4,000 Lebanese people, something along those lines. So, I mean, the whole thing is fucked up. Like, and I can understand why, it's a large point of this whole thing because Israel wants to fight Hezbollah, and we've got us trying to stop Iran from having nukes. I guess I'm not sure. Somehow that ends up with a lot of money going to them. It's all just super fucking weird. Israel wants no part of what Iran is offering because Iran is basically saying we want you to, we want Lebanon to be left in peace, and Israel is basically just shouting out "fuck that." So yeah, it is all fucked up. And so these talks are not going to be simple to even think about compared to actually hashing it out, considering what's happening over there. I mean, since Israel is not even necessarily participating in this, it's just fucking like anything you come to, you're gonna have to get them to agree to it too. And are they? That's a huge question mark. They could fuck everything up.
Well, you have Hezbollah, right, which operates under the umbrella of the IRGC, right? As they are supplied by, and they are attacking Israel, but Israel also kind of like wants Beirut, so it's like you've got a lot of incentive for Israel to expand its security border, and which is like a really fancy name for modern imperialism.
It's preemptive defense.
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
Actually premature genocide.
Maybe
they're killing a lot of people.
We haven't gotten there yet, but it could be.
How many more thousands of Lebanese people have to die?
I mean, most of them. Isn't that what a genocide is?
Yeah, genocide would be most. Most of them would. Yeah. But anyway, the IRGC is not done with their war, right? They've made that fairly clear, which means Hezbollah is not done with its attacks, which means Israel is not going to pull back. And the reality is Israel is probably never going to pull back, because why wouldn't they just want the Mediterranean coast?
Yep.
If they can take it, I mean, you have Syria, you have Lebanon, you've got failed governments just all around Israel. Why wouldn't they just invade those countries and take that land? Like, the incentive is there. So, I mean, Bibi has no reason to back off or take his foot off the pedal, even in the slightest. And that's, a big problem for Trump, because, I mean, the reality is you have, AIPAC, and you have, Christian evangelicals that are a major, like, that's not only major donors, but a major, like, voting block for the midterm elections that he has to appease. And so Trump, like, Bibi knows this, and he knows Trump is fairly powerless to do anything except follow suit. So, I mean, yeah, I don't think the negotiations are probably going to go that well. They obviously haven't up until this point. We don't have a deal. It's being discussed, but that doesn't mean shit. And it's also being discussed by the Iranian parliament, who has no power. So like Pakistan and Qatari officials and the Iranian parliament jerking each other off in a room in Geneva is not a valid peace deal. If the Ayatollah and the IRGC, I'm sorry, I forgot about Jared Kushner. And if the Ayatollah and the IRGC don't agree, there's no fucking deal. And that's the problem. And we already discussed what happens with what state the IRGC is in right now. Right? Remember, the IRGC was designed to go into like splinter cells and follow orders, the Ayatollah's fucking orders. And now the Ayatollah in charge is even more hardline than the prior Ayatollah was. So it's just, you have a theocracy run by somebody who's, a Muslim fundamentalist who has an army that he controls. And then you have the fucking Iranian parliament over here with no fucking power and limp dicks telling everybody, we'd love to have peace. That'd be great. Stop shooting missiles at our schools. But that's not gonna stop the IRGC from committing to the only fucking goal they've ever had for 50 years. Their entire existence has been dedicated to this moment, to gaining control of the Strait of Hormuz, setting up a blockade, and using it as their personal fucking on-off switch for oil prices.
So how much money does the U.S. need to give Iran? Like, let's actually.
Well, according to the deal, $300 billion.
I was gonna say, like, instead of using these dollars are tough. With these numbers are so big. So I was thinking we could measure it in GFCs, right? Like the number we use to bail out banks in the GFC. How many GFCs of money is it going to take for Iran to play ball.
Didn't
Like
we
2
end up
GFCs,
spending
3
like
GFCs?
no, I think didn't we end up spending like $800 billion or something like that in the
Yeah,
GFC?
so we're up to like over a third of a GFC so far.
Well, there's also nobody's actually committed to being the people to actually give
nobody's
them
agreed
that
to
money.
First of all, like they promised the money, but nobody's agreed to give it to them. And I mean, that's what Trump's saying when he's like, "Oh, don't worry about the money," because he's never going to pay it, like all his other bills.
Yeah.
Trump never pays his debts.
Is that
It's
a
like the
Game of Thrones
opposite of a
reference?
fucking Lannister.
Yeah. Speaking of never paying debts,
Wait, isn't Trump like from the family that like lives on the river where the guy sleeps with all his daughters?
Yes.
What were they called?
I forget.
I didn't watch enough remember it. Shit.
oh, I thought
It's
you
that
were
family
doing,
though. It's definitely
I-
that family.
I thought you were doing some weird JD Vance being an Appalachian or something.
No. They just fuck their cousins. That's
Oh.
totally different.
It seems, yeah, it's definitely
And couches, apparently.
yes, that cousin couches.
Yeah.
Mm.
But anyway, let me get back to my perfect transition. Speaking of never paying your debts, how do we feel about our new chair of the Federal Reserve, the king of making sure we never pay our debts? Kevin Warsh, as in Warsh the laundry.
Well, I think we are all excited to not have a dot plot anymore. That's going to add a whole lot of confidence and certainty to the debt market. It's going to be great.
Nothing. Yeah. Well, nothing like good old bond volatility, right? That's fun.
Yeah. Exactly. But I mean, the thing is too is they're also going to re-examine how they actually gauge inflation, because the silly inflation target and the bad optics of the transitory word when we haven't gotten back down to target in 5 fucking years. He's trying to get over that by saying, you know what? I think he's just going to say, we'll just let inflation do its thing, and as long as it's controlled, whatever that means, we're good. But thankfully, he's just the Fed chair and not the arbiter of all things rates. Otherwise, that would be kind of a bummer. But thankfully, there's still people on the board who I have to assume will not just fall into lockstep with this guy.
Well, yeah, I will note, in his speech, there was a lot of interesting things to glean. I missed the first couple minutes of it, but what I did catch, I thought there was tons of insight into who he is and what he wants to accomplish, and maybe how successful he might be in accomplishing those things. But the first thing I want to get at is, with the dot plot, he didn't provide a dot, but he allowed everybody else to provide a dot, and he doesn't want to necessarily take that away unless, a committee that has been formed is going to come up with a different way to do it. And this was a prevailing theme that kept recurring in his speech was, we've got a committee for that. He even started like joking it himself. He said, we've got a committee for that more than I've played Jared Goes to Geneva.
Which is
So
currently 0 times.
No, I did it while you
Nope.
were taking a poopy.
Ooh, he did it once.
Nice.
Which-
that was a good choice.
Which, to be clear, I can neither confirm or deny whether that was why he left. But that's what I choose to believe. Anyway,
What
okay.
I got like a bit of a different read on Warsh. I mean, I guess he formed 5 fucking committees in one presser. That was impressive. But I noticed that there were 3 points where like pre-Warsh versus pre nomination Warsh versus post first Fed presser Warsh. There were 3 things where he was in alignment, but there were like 6 points where he was absolutely contradicted what he had said to the Senate and what he had spoken about with Trump. And I thought that was kind of interesting because I mean I expected Warsh to come in and be more hawkish based on his history than what he was promising Trump in order to get nominated. And that's like a big like theme that happens with Fed chairs. It's like they promise the world to the sitting president and to his party, and then they get in the office and they can do whatever the fuck they want because they're no longer under the the only scope of them is Congress. They're almost impossible to remove. And one of the big things was like prior to the presser, he had said, 2% target is, 2% whatever. Don't obsess over the decimal places. And then at the meeting in the presser, he was like 2% is 2.0. It means it. So he's completely shifted from like, okay, if we get close enough, we're good enough, to no, this is our fucking target. No wavering, like and that's a big deal. Because, if the market's thinking, oh, long term, we're really at 3%, the Fed's not going to try to push us towards 2. But now Fed's saying, the Fed chair is saying, no, 2% is 2%. He starts to sound a lot more like Powell than he does, what was that fucking shithead who was there for like 4 months? Moron? Yeah, Moran. He starts to sound a lot like Moran. Moran, sorry. Yeah.
I don't know how to say his name, actually.
And then, prior to appointment, he was really blunt that inflation was like the Fed's responsibility, not something to blame on the pandemic or Russia or blah blah blah, or supply chains or supply shocks, that the Fed could hit any inflation level it chose, and wanted to hit over time, and they were in absolute control of it. And then we got to the presser, and he's immediately like talking about price shocks and how they're creating persistent inflation. And so it's like he was like critiquing the Fed, but now that he's running it, he's supporting it. And then like the kind of like accountability versus like opacity of the Fed. So in his senatorial hearings, he was arguing like competence and accountability and stuff. And then in the Fed presser, he made like this statement about no forward guidance, no dot, very little reaction function details, and then when asked why not to raise rates if inflation credibility mattered so much, he basically said there was nothing to add beyond the statement. So now that he's in charge, he doesn't want anybody looking at what he's doing, but he's more hawkish and, less in Trump's pocket than he appeared to be. And I think that's kind of like that presents an opportunity where debt markets are already very uncertain. We have tons of issuance. We got a fucking war in Iran that's going to cost us $400 billion at least, if not more, that is ongoing. And that's without talking about how much it's going to cost us to refill the fucking SPR at whatever price oil is at that point that we need to. And if we've only got 4 weeks left, we're hitting like we might even be dipping into, the military reserves in the SPR. So, I think he's not only, being cognizant of the economic impacts, but he's also like creating a market where, he's creating a situation where the market can't trust the Fed. And when you get that, your yields at the top end start to get really unpinned. And that's what we've all been talking about for so many years. It's like, what happens when these rates at the top end become unpinned? What happens to MBAs? What happens to the CMBS market or MBS and CMBS markets? Like, well, the MBAs all lose their jobs, right? So like, yeah, I mean, I guess the question is like, is he leading us? It's really, is he leading us? Is he going to be hawkish and do the right thing? Which, honestly, like the stable banks want. The stable banks want him to do the right thing because they can pick up all the losers, and then whoever's on the cusp can get bailed out, and we can move forward, and they can get this shit off their fucking balance sheets finally. And so that's one of the reasons banks supported Warsh's nomination. But they do not want a market where there's no visibility from the Fed, and we get significant bond volatility, because that's going to fuck up the funding for the entire AI capex trade. It's going to fuck up the funding for the U.S. government, and it's going to fuck up the ability of people to purchase homes, at least at their current prices. So then you start dealing with so we've got all these houses that have been bought over the last 3 years while rates have been 5+%. Right? Those have all been packaged and put into fucking MBSs. Those MBSs have been leveraged. Now the price of those houses is going to fall relative to rates at the top end picking up volatility, because it's the only way the fuck to get rid of them. And if you can't get debt funding, you can't hire more employees. You can't keep the employees you have employed. AI can't pick up the slack. Where the fuck do you go? Right? So, I mean, the entire economy starts to fall apart if we get too much bond volatility. But he's pushing the Fed towards that anyway. So I think this is going to be kind of a wild fucking ride. I don't think Warsh is going to be the Volcker we need when the time comes, and that's scary.
I don't think I never thought we were ever going to have a Fed who actually had the balls to do what is necessary when the opportunity arises. It's unfortunate, but
when you say what is necessary here? Because I'm not convinced that higher rates are necessary.
that's not it.
I don't think
No.
they should be lower, but I don't necessarily think they should be higher.
When the banks show up to the Fed's doorstep with fistfuls of garbage assets and says, "Hey, please buy these for me at, a way better price than we were ever going to get for them on the open market. Pretty please, daddy." They need to say no.
Yeah. Okay. Then we're in agreement there, because I think their balance sheet is the issue. They need to make that thing go down.
Warsh also kind of agrees, but I think
on the open market instead of just letting debt mature and roll off the balance sheet. I think they should be actively selling into the market and not buying as they're currently doing.
Well, that would be, letting it roll off more and more. I like Warsh. I'm pretty sure he was mentioning that he's had issues with the balance sheet being where it is, being much too high. So I have to assume he will let more roll off, or he will at least push for that. But the thing is this is all kind of piddly tiddlywinks, right? Like, it's not like, when push comes to shove, when the next big thing happens, right, and some major giant bank sustains major losses, right, major paper losses, he's got to, if he wants to walk the walk, then he can't actually go and say, yes, we will buy those distressed assets because we love you. 'Cause that's the shit that sends America on another strange trajectory, like it happened with COVID, and like it happened with the GFC, and like it happened with the Great Moderation to some degree as well, with Greenspan and the advent of the Fed put. I mean, a similar thing happened then too, albeit much more muted. GFC was that on crack, and then COVID was it on fucking poppers and fentanyl at the same time. So yeah,
When do we get to the bath salts Fed?
That's this next one. That's what's going to happen next, and we're just like, everyone's going to get handed $1 million, and then next thing you know, you're going to see like a whole bunch of you see toilet paper at $20,000 a fucking packet. Everyone's going to feel rich with their $1 million until they see the prices of everything goes up by about 1,000x.
All right, I want to pivot a little bit to another thing that Kevin said that I thought it's something that we've talked about for a really long time.
Are you guys on a first name basis now?
Yeah, Kev and Jay Fresh. Yeah. I call him Big K sometimes, but anyway. So one thing that he talked about was data lag, the lag in data reporting, which is something we've talked about a lot, and how when you're getting that information so far lagged from the present, it's basically useless in terms of like control theory and things. If you want to actually prevent if you want to prevent your intervention from actually increasing volatility instead of decreasing it, you need your data to be timely. And the more lagged it is, the more likely you are to overcorrect, right? So like if say you're trying to heat up your oven, right? Why does your oven not go, to 500 when you set it at 400? Well, it's because it's constantly checking and adjusting it every time. But let's imagine that you check and the oven's at 200, and then you check again and it's at 300, and then you check again and it's at 500. And only then are you like, oh shit, I need to turn it down. Well, it hit 400 a long time ago and you just didn't see it till now. And by then it was too late. It's the same idea. And he actually talked about it openly and said, unfortunately, talked about committees, which tend to spend a lot of time and produce little. But he wants to look at more modern ways of looking at this data. And he even made comments that say that, some of these financial institutions have better methods for measuring some of this stuff, and we want to potentially incorporate that. So what do you guys think about, is that criticism warranted? And do you think that they are going to ever come up with a different way of measuring and thinking about these numbers? And thirdly, is this just a really back-ended way of saying that we're going to change the definitions of things to declare victory when we otherwise couldn't?
I'm hoping it means that Warsh is a GammaStrike and Volstars aficionado and is now going to use Gas Buddy as the primary metric for inflation.
Well,
'Cause that comes out
that leads
every
into my
day.
next question, but I'll let you keep going. Yeah.
That's all.
So you think they just need to look at the price of oil?
The price of gas, but yeah, why not?
Okay.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think the Fed's been, hiding the inflation since like 2020. So I think what happened is, Warsh came into his like, his hearings and everything, and he was, like hawkish and, all about credibility. And I think he got into the Fed and he realized they've been fucking doing the thing he planned to do all along. And he had fuck all to say. So he's just making a bunch of committees to make it look like he's fucking doing something. And those aren't going to generate any reports till like late fall, probably next year, you know? And I think he's realizing that his whole plan of, balance sheet revolution and all that shit isn't going to fucking happen because the Fed's already, they've been burying the bone for so long. There's just like they've already hit bedrock. There's nowhere else to hide it. And so I think that smacked him pretty hard. And so I think he pulled back, I mean, almost everything he said prior to becoming Fed chair, and just came out sounded a lot like fucking JPOW.
Yeah. I mean, you want to know the sign of somebody that has no vision and doesn't understand what's going on? Somebody that just forms a bunch of committees.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes it can be nice to form committees when there's a bunch of work that needs to be done that you don't want to fucking do. And so you just pawn it off on other people. I don't think that's what's going on here. I think these committees were formed as a way of making it look like he's doing something and making progress on things and improving things because he has no idea what to do. But anyway, okay, so you mentioned he should look at Gas Buddy. One of the questions that he was asked was how him not providing ample forward guidance to markets, how that's going to impact the markets and if it could increase volatility in the markets. And I thought what he said, probably the most important thing of this whole meeting. You guys are free to disagree, but to me, this was the biggest like, oh shit statement that he made for me. Was he said, if the markets are one of the most timely measures of reality that there is, right? It's the efficient market hypothesis, whether you believe it or not, right? The most people are making the most informed financial bet at the moment with the most recent data, right? And his argument was, right, as somebody who wants the most timely actionable data he can get his hands on, if you direct that market and lead it, then the market just responds to you and no longer becomes a signal with which you can use to measure something, right? Because you're affecting it. And so to me, that was a huge point, because is that him kind of saying the Fed put is on watch?
For the wrong
He
reasons,
wants-
yes.
Well,
Yes.
sure, but he wants the market to be a valuable measure of real-time health of whatever, which means it can no longer rely on the Fed to be the savior, right? Isn't that scary?
It sounds like the Fed should get a GammaStrike subscription to me.
Maybe.
You're really shilling hard tonight.
I mean, if they
Yeah,
want
it's a little
just
little
specifically
heavy-handed.
just specifically to one person too.
That's right. Yeah. If we get
Yeah.
that one customer, that's it.
Dude, this is what we're getting close to episode 40.
You know what, Dork?
He's not signing up, Dork.
God damn
Our
it.
listener is not signing
if
up.
I see a Kevin Warsh transaction on Stripe, I will get. You can have one more quesadilla per quarter.
I'll forego
Done.
the quesadilla for a GammaStrike hat.
Shit.
Actually, so just keep an eye out. Kevin Warsh he's probably going to use his personal LLC, Big Fat Green Dildo LLC. So look for that transaction.
Did you guys notice that he said nothing about the fiscal situation? Fuck all.
I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, that's troublesome, right?
Yeah.
Because
He
ideally
did
you would like the
before.
Fed to be somewhat at odds and a counterweight to fiscal, which they haven't been. I don't know.
That's how I know he
expect
was
that.
like shell shocked upon appointment. The second he got into that role, they fucking just slapped him in the face with all the bullshit they've been doing to cover up inflation this whole time. And he realized there's no more levers to pull. So he sent out a bunch of committees to find new levers that he can pull. That's what they're there for, right? And then totally pulled back his fucking statements about the fiscal situation entirely. Yeah, and like April, I think it was April 2025. He said that U.S. fiscal policy was on a dangerous trajectory, and that's a direct quote.
I mean, Powell said the same thing in the chair.
Higher than the 5 prior years.
But Powell said the same thing in the chair multiple times, even in front of Congress, and his pressers, everywhere he could. I remember hearing him say that all the time. He did fuck all about fighting the federal deficit, right? I mean, at the end of the day, he was as big a buyer as anybody when the going got even a little rough. It's like, we can't have rates going too high. People might have to not make super risky bets. So, I don't know that I'm convinced that I'll believe it when I see it, right? I mean, at some point, somebody's going to have to say enough is enough, and nobody wants to be that person. And if it's going to be anybody, it should be the Fed chair, because they are the most independent at that point. And I don't know. I don't see him doing that.
Well, the saying goes, don't fight the Fed, but I think they were talking about the wrong Fed.
No, yeah, I mean, it has been since 2020. Don't fight the fiscal side.
Yeah, the
Don't
Fed,
fight
the roll
Congress.
government.
Yeah, because the Federal Reserve has been enabling that every step of the way, right?
Well, they've been working in closely with the Treasury to make sure that it all goes off without a hitch.
Our debt to GDP is over 100%, and our deficits are growing by 6 to 7% a year.
Yeah.
And
Way
yet
faster than GDP.
our debt is growing. We're growing well over $2 trillion a year in deficits. We only make like $1 trillion a year in M2 in broad money.
Yeah.
And so something's going to have to give eventually. We can't just, we're already at a point where we're issuing, we're growing the M2 at like a rate of $1 trillion a year. So basically what the banks are loaning, around $1 trillion a year, with the Feds, the Congress issuing, $2 trillion in debt a year. There's no more, and we're already in like the biggest bubble of all time. Like, people are just building data centers with no really good plan. Like they're building terrible businesses based on data centers. I mean, you look at the neo clouds, you look at all of the hyperscalers, like they're just burning money. Everybody is burning money trying to use it for something because the government is creating so much debt.
Yeah, but money is a flat circle.
But what I'm saying is where is the who is waiting to do useful work that currently is not being enabled to do it?
Literally every company outside of the semiconductor and AI sphere. Because no one wants to give them any money, right?
That's true.
Why the fuck would you loan anyone money when SpaceX will pay 13% on its bonds?
Right. They'll just pay you back by selling its stock or something.
So I mean, in a way, we're already at a point where we're killing productivity with debt, right? I mean, the debt is so unproductive that people have become so lax and so unprincipled and undisciplined in their issuance of debt that they're just following trends and they're not doing their due diligence and they're looking the other way and they're giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, right? I hear this over and over again when I fight with people about AI. It's like, you really think that all of these CEOs of these massive companies who are clearly the smartest people on earth because of where they are, you really think they're going to spend all this money for a bad reason? I'm like,
Yeah, they're doing it to enrich themselves and build bunkers to keep us the fuck away from them so they don't get decapitated later on.
Well, and regulatory capture so they can actually have the federal government protecting them personally as their bodyguards.
So,
yes.
But yeah, I mean, so interesting, back to the Fed, you know, pretty much half the committee said they should raise rates at least once this year.
Mm-hmm.
So,
we've got a pretty good chance of a rate hike priced in already. That'll be fucking interesting.
I mean,
you think the 10-2 reinverts?
Oh my God. I just think the whole curve goes up eventually, right?
I feel like this whole fucking thing is just going to be 2022 on crack.
Probably. It's going to be another weird fucking bear steepener. Like, that's just
also the better question is, like, there was a path to recovering from the GFC. There was a path to recovery from the .com bubble. There's no fucking path to recovery now. We've used them up. We've blown through all our wild cards. We've got fuck all. Like, were we gonna get the money from China? Like, I don't see how the fuck we claw our way out of this. I don't see how we claw our way out of this with everything not just tanking and staying that way for a long time.
That's a whole other issue. I mean, I talked about that earlier, right? It seems like we're drawing down every reserve we have everywhere in this like very long-term decline. We're not creating reserves in various places. We're drawing everything down. We're using all of our insurance. But, you know, in terms of the rate decision, you know, interestingly, Japan hiked and they're talking about more hikes. My question,
Himono is hawkish as fuck.
My tinfoil question, my tinfoil hat is, did half of the Fed committee, the Fed board, did they say they should hike because they want to maintain the spread between Japan and the US?
I think half of them voted they didn't want to cut because of that reason. Yeah, how many more basis points can we squeeze that trade before it blows the fuck up?
Clearly not very many.
The leverage on it's insane. And now the leverage at the short end's been growing too, which is really dangerous. Yeah.
But I mean, USD JPY is at 161.53 right now.
I feel like with the rate hike we got last week, that if they fucking intervene, it's going to be a problem now.
Yes. Well,
and then that's why we haven't seen the Ministry of, like, the MOF intervene yet.
Yeah.
They're just kind of letting it slide because they know the effect it's going to have on FX markets at this point.
Yeah,
but they have to raise rates. Look at their inflation exploding because all their oil's imported.
Yeah,
they've drawn down their reserves hard as fuck, and they actually need them. You know, they're not producing 13 million barrels of oil a day. Not even fucking close. At least the U.S., you know, we can kind of supply our own crude. I mean, not in the we can survive. I guess the worst part about all of this is we've done all of this shit to maintain like a fairly shitty status quo, like a slowly degrading status quo where every product we buy is slightly worse. All the work we do is worth slightly less. And we've gone into all this fucking debt just to maintain that instead of just like having like 5 fucking bad years once in a while.
Yeah.
Because God forbid an asset ever fell. And that's because we've leveraged the shit out of all of them. So 0.001% of us can be so rich they'll never be able to spend all their money in 80 lifetimes.
You forgot a few zeros on that there, Girk, but yes.
Yeah, well, not well, you know, anybody 0.001% and higher.
I pointed out recently, I think the best way to describe the problem with the Federal Reserve is that rising wages are a problem to be managed. Rising stocks are a gift to be completely ignored when it occurs.
Yes.
And the average person is paid in wages, and the rich are paid in stocks.
That's correct. I mean, and this was something that, you know, our especially our initial adventures and just looking at the raw numbers just for the options market alone, kind of, you know, and some of the other things out there, like when you look at the notional amounts that have gone into this gigantic behemoth that we have created, it should boggle everybody's mind when you see the entire S&P 500 having these huge swings, you know, one way or the other, and then back the other way, and all this shit. I mean, it just goes to show that there are 2 primary drivers, right? Asset prices rise, volatility falls. That's pretty much the MO of the entire market. And like Eric said, heaven fucking forbid one of those 2 things happen, you get a huge tantrum, like what happened in 2019 and even in 2016 too. Like what ends up happening is you do get to this point where everybody is so euphoric and so high on whatever they're on, and financially speaking, but you think of it like being on drugs. You're on so much drugs that one guy walks up wearing like a Guy Fawkes mask or that weird rubber horse head, and all of a sudden your entire high is just fucking ruined, right? That's the market is like that right now. It's just so fucking stoned that anything out there can ruin its high. And it's been with this whole Iran shit, it's been this whole process of like taking more drugs and pushing the AI narrative harder and all this shit and trying to just ignore it, right? But
well, you know, if you take out AI and semis from the S&P, the S&P is down on the year.
Yeah, and if you take those out, we're also in a recession.
Because the AI and semis are like almost a majority of the S&P now.
They're almost a majority of the economic activity.
Yeah,
Well,
no, they are almost entirely. Yeah. If you look at where banks are lending, we've talked about this in the past. It's still primarily it's less going to private credit. I think as private credit is starting to crack, private credit really wants some exit liquidity. And SpaceX was
because everyone keeps trying to draw out their fucking money and they don't have any money to give them.
SpaceX, they're all private credits, all like they're like in a goon, like a prolonged goon sesh now because they're like they see the finish line. SpaceX launched, it didn't collapse. They just got to get this thing to hold up long enough for the lockup to expire, and then they can sell out underneath it.
Does anyone still think that Elon IPO'd SpaceX in order to crash the market so that he could fuck Sam Altman?
Well, I don't think he did it to crash the market, but I do think he did it to fuck Sam Altman and Dario Amodei.
I mean, he definitely did it to fuck Sam Altman and Amodei. But
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the world's shortest lived trillionaire.
And he's
Yeah,
doing it all for
I
an
think so
ego
too.
trip and crashing. Dude, that would be a
He
hell of a movie to watch.
also,
I mean, if you can't win, burn it all down, right?
It strikes me as the person to do that.
well, I mean, he's
Yes,
also
actually.
just he has no checks and balances, right? I mean, he's already made claims about the potential future earnings of SpaceX, which, 20 years ago, I mean, he would have gotten fined into oblivion. Maybe 30 years ago, he would have gotten fined into the ground, right? He would be
Yeah.
He'd be
he would be getting
litigated
pulled
by
into
his
front of
investors.
yeah. Well, I mean, that happens when the stocks collapse, not before. But yeah, I mean, he can make claims to say like, oh, we might make $1 trillion by 2030 or something like that, and doesn't have to update the S1, doesn't have to publish any new statement for the company. He can just say whatever he wants online. Just like with Tesla, right? I mean, maybe next year, making all these claims that you could rent out your car because it'll drive itself, and so you could just make money by owning a Tesla by
Yeah, this
renting it
next
out to the
FSD
market.
update is
Hey,
true
hold on.
full
You can
self-driving.
make
Trust
money
me,
by
bro.
owning a Tesla. You go on your phone and you download the Uber driver app. And then you sign up and turn it on. And then hopefully somebody pays you less than minimum wage to come pick them up, drop them off somewhere, and they puke in your car in the process.
Woo!
Yeah. Well, hey, you want them to puke in your car. Actually, I thought about this. If I was going to do a Tesla,
I think it's
or
more
if I-
profitable if they puke in your car.
yeah, if
You
I
might
was
be
if I was
right.
going to do like Uber, I would go to high puke areas like bar areas and just line the car with like serial killer tarps and stuff, and just like drive real crazy and stuff, and get them to throw up and charge them the throw up fee,
Yeah.
and then just like rip off the top layer and do it again.
This sounds like somebody's been charged a throw up fee before.
No, but I was talking with an Uber driver once who talked about that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, they charge you
probably...
like $300, and I think the driver gets like 100 or 200 of it.
Why would Uber get any of it?
Oh, because they take a cut.
Because fuck
everything.
you.
Yeah,
they take a majority cut.
I've heard from a lot of drivers in New York City that like it's a bitch to get the money out of Uber. Like Uber doesn't want to charge people because they lose customers when they do it. Like they lose customers to Lyft, and then Lyft doesn't want to charge people because they'll lose customers to Uber. And so you kind of get a like self-reinforcing thing where people can just fucking puke in your car and you have to go clean it up, and that's your fucking problem.
It seems like it turns out this business model was actually not that great. Yeah.
It's always been shit. I mean, Uber and Lyft still are relying on like self-driving cars becoming a thing because they actually can't afford to pay employees. And like anybody who's gone and driven for them part-time or for like a couple of years or in between jobs knows that like that is not a sustainable form of employment. And so, eventually they're going to have cycled through everybody, and the public like disdain for working for them is going to be so fucking bad that they can't get drivers. People will just work at it's more profitable to like work at McDonald's. So, I mean, once that happens, Elon still hasn't made a fucking viable self-driving vehicle. Those businesses are fucked. They won't be able to pay their debt, and boom.
Well, Elon is. I don't want to ever say never, but it is extremely unlikely that Elon will ever crack self-driving with a statistical based method that he is currently pursuing.
Well, if it doesn't kill a lot of people, then it's good enough, right?
The problem is who's responsible for it.
Yeah.
And how do you insure against that?
Fall?
How do you insure it?
But yeah, you won't be able to. You won't get the insurers on board. I mean, he can start his own insurance company.
It can't happen.
No, all they have to do is make sure the legalese behind it.
It's not. No.
Yeah, I know.
You have to just distribute the liability like you do losses.
Yeah, but then the liability will fall on the owner of the car it's self-driving, and so there will be no commercial like Uber is Uber cannot get insurance on their fleets.
Yeah.
They become liable for all of the accidents, completely liable. Like, how do they must become their own insurance company at that point.
Look, you didn't ask me for a good idea, okay?
Like consumers are going to stop buying it and using it because it's not worth the liability of going to jail forever or, losing everything because you hit somebody and its insurance won't cover it.
I like the way you phrase that as you hit somebody, because over that model, it would be they hit them.
Yeah. So I think that's a big problem. Is who's liable? But anyway, we're getting pretty far off topic. So let's get back to tinfoil. We're actually sourcing this from our audience, as our third topic for macro, and we've gone for quite a while now. But does the panel? We are a panel of men, not very diverse.
I don't think we're
Actually,
very
now that I
panely
think about
either.
it, bunch of middle-aged white dudes. Do we think the current administration
Wow,
is
I'm not middle-aged. Fucking rude. You're the only middle-aged white dude.
Move past it. Does the panel think the current administration is directly intervening in the U.S. equities market to prevent a major correction? If so, when do you think
I just
this
think
could
the current
eventually conclude and
administration is
how?
manipulating the equities market. Trump is manipulating the equities market for his own personal gain and the gain of his friends. As far as intervening, I mean, well, we've had Basant come out and say a few things about intervening in oil markets, and yeah, they're obviously trying to intervene and making sure the front end stays liquid. But I mean, that was going long before this administration took hold. So no, I don't think they're trying to stop a correction. I mean, I think they're just trying to profit off of their headlines that they generate.
If
Because
anything,
otherwise, why lie? I mean, if you weren't just profiting off of it, why lie provably so many times in a row? Like, why would there be 17 different fucking Iranian peace deals when we still don't even have one?
There were, I think, 39.
That were all announced during market hours. Like, announce one after market hours. Mix it up. But no.
No, so I think
Barron has a Robinhood account, and he can't trade after 4 p.m.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think I think that there's a bit of making the volatility and then making a mint off the volatility before manufacturing a resolution to the manufactured volatility.
There is no resolution, right? You just burn it all down.
That's why I said you manufacture
That's
it.
the
I
whole
don't know, you
point.
make it up.
The whole point. I mean, like it's like the whole like the Curtis Yarvin crap and the fucking dark whatever, right? You just burn everything to the ground. You burn the debt markets to the ground. You burn the stock market to the ground. You profit off of it. You put it into tangible shit and somewhere to hide, and that's it. And remember, Trump came into his presidency without his own New Zealand bunker, and now he's trying to build one where the ballroom used to be.
Yeah. I mean, okay, but so taking to completion, we're just going to be dirt poor fighting over little bits of bread, and then he's going to be hanging out in his bunker.
Yeah.
With the Epstein files.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just say in terms of this, and I know this has been something that's being discussed in different financial social circles and things as a tinfoil theory. My question is, I get it. They could, I guess, hide it somewhere for a while, but you've got daily treasury statements and things. Like, what line item are they hiding it in? Like, go to the daily treasury statement, pull it up, and show me which line item you think they're hiding this manipulation.
You don't think the government has funds outside of the Treasury General account?
Well, no, I mean, of course they do, but like, what agency would be doing it?
Good luck.
No, I don't think it's direct intervention. I think it is entirely narrative driven.
Didn't they cut the flow of money to like a metric fuck ton of different agencies? Couldn't they just say that they're still paying that money to those agencies and be redirecting it instead?
Maybe.
You just made a bunch of conspiracy theorists get hard all at the same time.
That's what I do.
If you felt the change in pressure, the slight increase in pressure, that was the volumetric expansion of at least one listener's penis.
I mean, I just assume that Trump has hired, what are effectively mob accountants who aren't really that good at hiding shit in the first place, and they're just doing what mob accountants do. And I'm me.
Speaking of mob,
I wish I was wrong about
on.
this kind of shit more often. I really do.
That's what. Hold on, Rod, as our producer. Speaking of mob accountants, I want you to go and look up a picture of the guy who got paid the $14 million or whatever to paint the reflection pool blue. And I want you to, number one, show it to Girk and Dork so they can see this guy.
I've seen it.
And then have it handy for the video version of this podcast so everybody else can enjoy it as well. This motherfucker.
Hey, looks like what's the guy's name in Batman? The Penguin?
If you told me that this guy was involved with this administration in some way, I would believe you that they're manipulating equity markets.
Yeah.
But I do think, I don't think they're manipulating
I got
them
the
in the
perfect
way.
shade of blue for you. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I was going to say, I do think they're manipulating the equity markets, but I don't think they're manipulating them in a way to save them. They're simply manipulating them for gain. That's it. And it's obvious, so obvious. We just don't have an SEC. Like, we literally have, every fucking time Trump makes an announcement, there's some dipshit buying $187 million worth of SPY options exactly 5 minutes before the announcement is made. I mean, and it's every fucking time. That's not a coincidence, all right? It's not oh man, that guy got real lucky. No. That kind of money moves around with purpose. And that purpose is Trump's announcement 5 fucking minutes after it moves.
Well, you see, the thing is, Kalshi told us it was okay, and so now we're just doing it. And yeah, the SEC's too busy watching porn to do anything about it. I mean,
they're not even watching porn. I don't even think they have the funding for that.
I mean, they're watching.
I think maybe
porn.
the director of the SEC gets a Pornhub subscription, and then everyone else just has to use it when he's not, feeling in the mood.
Well, he's in the mood 12 hours a day. I mean, maybe they have Grok.
There is a reason he's the head of the SEC.
It's true.
You can't do it without a just highly functional libido.
Right, yeah, okay. And a prostate the size of a grapefruit.
Yeah.
Moving on. Earnings. Let's get into earnings.
Blacked out.
Yeah.
Who cares? FedEx.
Micron.
Micron matters. I mean, just not as good as before, right?
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting. The cure for high prices is high prices.
Yep.
And Apple came out recently and said they're going to hike the price of the iPhone significantly because of
you mean the phone no one wants to buy
RAM?
already?
Listen.
What?
I have an iPhone.
Did you know that China's consumer spending went down? That's a big problem for Apple.
However, do you know what the first thing I thought when I heard that was I should upgrade now so I don't have to upgrade again for so I could see a little I don't know if I can beat the price hike. I don't know when it's going to occur, but I kind of want to slip in there and just grab one and be good for another 3 or 4 years.
I have a question. With the exponentially increasing cost to build a data center that seems to be just, hockey sticking to the fucking moon, will a data center ever be built in the US?
Shots fired at private credit right there.
Blackstone, if you're listening, he didn't mean it, okay?
Yes, I did.
Tell your van men to stand down.
Oh my God. Yeah, I just saw people fucking hate data centers, which makes my job easier of trying to provide what I would consider to be a somewhat more rigorous reason for why it's all bullshit than the average person. But everybody hates data centers because they're antisocial, right? These people are just going around saying, we're going to destroy society. We're going to destroy your community. We're going to destroy your way of life. And
We're going to destroy your
but
water supply.
but we need all your money to build this data center, and it's going to be great for us, but fuck you, but give us your money and your land and everything. So it's easy to hate.
You know what's
It
interesting?
doesn't help that the technology is also not going to ever do what they're claiming it could do. And that's the part that I try to hammer on. But you know, this is actually like, it is, people hate it so much and they're now associating it with the current politicians and party in power, that a lot of people who you would think, there's everybody, you've ever met those people who are not of the same political stripes as you, and you're just like, you know what, there is nothing I could ever say or do to change this person's mind about that issue. We're just different worlds apart. Those people are just like, I don't even want to try, like I need to just avoid this. Those types of people are breaking ranks and changing political parties because they hate data centers so much, which I thought was notable. I've seen some news things about it, but yeah, I mean, Micron's got earnings Wednesday after the close. They're going to talk about all the RAM that they're going to sell everybody.
Yeah.
And
don't forget they're backward reporting. So it's probably, Micron's probably still doing great.
Well, I think the thing to look at here, the interesting thing is, do they start ramping CapEx? And to what extent?
Well, if they do, then I think if they start ramping production, then their stock price falls.
Maybe, but because obviously all of these companies are very well aware of the cyclicality of these markets, and they don't want to end up in a glut, stuck on the wrong side of a glut. So that's why I think it'd be interesting to see, how much are they going to actually go all in on this versus just get that short-term dopamine from that huge. I think it would give some measure of how much Micron and some of these other companies actually believe in the long-term durability of the AI trade and the AI economy in general.
I think all the semi manufacturers are currently incentivized to limit output. Why not
but they
keep
also want to
prices high and keep your business running at the same efficiency that it was running at prior to the bubble in prices? What incentive is there to expand? And that'll be where things break, probably, right? Is when someone announces, okay, we're going to manufacture more to beat our competition instead of just riding the wave of demand on our shortfall in supply. And then once someone starts doing that, then everyone has to start doing it, and then it all falls apart.
Yeah, but I could see there could be some nuanced argument about gaining market share because, on the other side, you do have underdogs like in China and places that are trying to come in and eat market share and say like, hey, Micron and Hynix and whoever, SanDisk, they make drives, they don't make RAM, but all of these chip manufacturers, they don't have capacity for you, and I know that we're an untested new name and yada yada yada, we don't have the track record, but let us surprise you, give us a chance, and then they could erode the market share that this current cartel has. So I don't know. There could be a nuanced discussion of trying to maintain market share by saying, "Hey, you stick with us and you don't break ranks and go to those Chinese, and we'll get you more supply."
I don't know. I'm mostly interested in Winnebago's earnings coming up.
Winnebago.
Yeah, Winnebago. Yeah.
FedEx and FedEx Freight.
Yep.
are both
Yeah,
reporting
I
this
was
week.
looking at
Those
too,
matter.
yeah.
Those
Yep.
are big economic bellwethers. Carnival could be interesting, what they have to say
Ugh.
with oil prices falling back.
Oh, we got
That's probably about it.
Cerebrus after the close on Tuesday. They're the they're the AI chip company that makes like the whole AI rack, but on like one single solid silicon wafer, like 12-inch silicon wafer. Like all the RAM and all the
Ooh,
GPUs and
ooh.
everything are built on one wafer.
Actually, KB Homes. Homes have been getting fucked. Like home prices are fucked. Home
Yeah,
buying is
new
fucked.
homes.
New home
New
construction
homes,
is
yeah.
fucked. I wonder how much KB Homes is having to discount their unsold inventory in order to match the 6.5% mortgage rate.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've been doing a lot of teaser rates, right? Basically arms for or balloon loans essentially. And some of those now are going to start coming due for people who bought earlier. And those people, the price, there's so many prices that have gone up, like insurance, just the cost of maintenance of the house. Like if you have to call somebody to your house to do work, it's gotten so expensive. You just can't afford to even maintain it. Like these people are already stretched so thin on their mortgages at the higher rates and the high price that when they start cracking, and it does seem like they are cracking, it'll get real interesting. Yeah.
I mean, you could
Okay.
just look at Lennar from their peak in 2024. They're down what, like 50% or something like that?
Yeah. There's some struggle there. Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the calendar and then let's move on. So last week
I think
we
we
had a
covered
couple.
all of last week.
Yeah, we covered the BOJ interest rate decision. We covered. I mean, we talked. There's not a ton to say about housing. Retail sales was hot, 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 hot.
Mhm.
We're still drawing a lot of crude. Fed held. Initial jobless claims still in line. We've talked about that many times. The number of employed people can go down while the jobless claims can stay low because our population is no longer growing at the rate it used to and is pretty stagnant, if not declining. Inflation, Japan, 1.4, 1.5. I don't know. It seems low. I don't know. In line
It's
with
up.
expectations.
It's
Yeah.
up, but it's gonna rise probably more.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure. So this week calendar, it looks like core PCE, GDP growth rate, personal income, personal spending. So PCE is the big thing this week. It looks like.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, it's just it looks like it. Well, Yuta is speaking at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Ueda. And
Post papers.
he's been sick, so this will be his first like BOJ speech since the decision. There's also the BOJ summary of opinions on Monday. We have PMIs, good old S&P PMI, which is not my favorite, but it's there.
Yeah.
And I think we get some like goods trade balance, which will be interesting. We also get GDP price index, so that'll be somewhat important. Chicago Fed national activity has been not doing so great. It's expected to move back up, but we'll see. That could be somewhat important. GDP is obviously important. It's projected at like a consensus 1.6. We'll see if we get that. But all of the GDP shit, like corporate profits, all of that is going to be important. So, I mean, mostly Thursday, a little bit of Friday.
It looks like Thursday morning is fucking stacked.
But I actually want to see new home sales. I think new home sales are going to get fucked.
That's why they're building so many of them, Girk.
You mean none?
They're building homes, let me tell you.
We have more homes per capita than we've ever had.
And we're about to have
There
more,
are
Jay
plenty
Fresh.
of homes. If
We
they're
got
not selling,
Population doing
it
this,
is-
homes doing this.
it's the Price-Arinos.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, PCE's got to be up, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's largely baked in from CPI and PPI from before, which was hot. Although it does look like the expectation for core PCE is only like 0.2, 0.3,
Yeah,
which is still too high, but
low.
just
Well,
above.
that's
too
also
high.
month over month.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
durable goods is gonna fall off a fucking cliff because the Chinese Boeing orders are gone now. Remember,
Oh.
durable goods was actually negative last month, but it came in positive because of just the airplane orders that Trump negotiated like days before the fucking durable goods report. He's gonna have to sell somebody some more fucking airplanes in the next couple of days.
Well, he can just it's a circular economy. He gets people to donate airplanes to him as
Oh, I
gifts,
see.
and then he sells them.
Ah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, pretty
All
much I got mine on
Well-
Thursday, so.
We razzle dazzled through that. So Ron, play us into a commercial.
Why so long, producer Ron? I'm only playing Leaps because I learned my lesson on zero DTEs. But all my money is tied up on a handful of trades.
Why not use GammaStrike?
That's too complicated. It's accurate, but I'm not a genius. I can't figure that out.
Nah, you'll learn it. They've got a great docs page, and there's a roundtable videos section that will break it all down for you.
No kidding. I'll have to check it out and maybe stop going so long on everything. Thanks, Dork.
Don't thank me. Thank Team GammaStrike.
And we're back. And I don't think Ron played a commercial because we've been shilling so fucking hard the first half that he got sick of it. I got sick of it. Jay Fresh got sick of it. Girk is already sick of it. So we just didn't want to do it.
All right. Yeah, let's get
Yeah.
into your little
Oh.
back end, Dork.
Yeah. Dork's little back end. I love it. Yeah. Since we didn't do one last week and it's already pretty late, we're going to pretend like trading with GammaStrike doesn't exist this week too. So stay tuned on that. We will come up with some more fun trades at a future Volstars episode. So
Happy
You know, it's
Father's
actually
Day.
awesome on the weekend stream that I did today that I've rebranded as Stock Talk. You can go check that out and get a review of like 30 different equities and their potential price action this week. So go enjoy that, and we'll skip doing this week.
there you go. Okay, so let's move on to audience questions, huh? As our viewer may know already, but just in case there's another viewer lurking about, we make social media posts before we do these podcasts. We also have links below these podcasts, wherever you're listening to them. Wherever you see us, you will see an opportunity to ask us a question. If you see us post on social media, you can even just ask it in any one of those posts out there. We'll probably catch it. We're going to throw it on a spreadsheet, and we're going to put it in here so we can make sure to answer your question. So our first question, I think this may be a little bit geared towards Girk, but I might have something to say about this too. We'll see. This came from X. Regarding Japan, what effects will repatriation have on Japanese stocks? The value of the yen increases and Japanese bond rates go up. Is this bearish for their stocks, or is there more to it than that?
It's all just about the pace of the unwind. So, I mean, we know leverage on the carry is very, very high. It really depends if this is like an orderly and structured repatriation of funds, which would be immensely bullish for Japanese stocks, or if it's a collapse of a carry trade, which is immensely bearish for everything except the yen.
Yeah, that was you actually kind of just fucking nailed it. Yeah, there's two schools of thought, right? Yeah, if this is something that is handled by central banks and it is absolutely intentional and everything like that, then yeah, it should be fine. But if it's not, then I think it's a symptom of something very serious going on with our credit markets. So yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
we either kind of get steepening or a bear flattening.
right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the issue though is the leverage in the system, right? I mean, it's like how possible is it to make an orderly unwind, because an unwind implies leverage going down in a system that is running on momentum as leverage continues to increase to, the highest levels of all time.
Yeah, no, there isn't one. I mean, I wasn't saying that there is actually a path to an orderly unwind. I think I agree. The leverage ratios are way too fucking high.
Yeah.
There's no way
Also, yeah.
one person doesn't walk away and the whole thing doesn't just fucking collapse. It's a
Well,
house
well,
of cards.
it could
Yeah,
happen. Okay, if it's nice and slow over the course of 35 years,
Yeah,
I thought you were
it's
gonna say
yeah.
35
possible.
minutes. um
That's the problem. Yen starts rising in any way. I mean, look how much leverage has been packed on it above like USD JPY 158. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, leverage has increased like 2-3x above that. So imagine USD JPY goes, imagine the worst case scenario. Imagine the BOJ pegs to the fucking dollar. That's what, $81 trillion in leveraged assets that need to be covered yesterday.
Oh yeah, no, that the thing, this is the big question, right? So, and it does come down to how the yen is repriced, right? If it's
Yeah.
repriced suddenly, even if expectedly, right? Even just the sniff of that yen repricing coming in will get it to be, if like at least partially priced in, if not mostly priced in. And if that happens suddenly, anyone caught on the back foot in that reaction is just, all of their carry trade positioning is just absolutely on fire immediately.
Yeah, and Japan, who notably has very large oil reserves, has drawn them down. And do you know the one thing that really helps in refilling your oil reserves? Currency
Money.
strength against the dollar. No,
Yeah.
no. Having a more valuable currency is huge. It is extremely important. And if they need to refill those reserves, they might not be so gracious to the US banks, because
Yeah.
that is survival. That is no longer, order of business. It's for the country to survive. They need to refill those reserves. Otherwise they can't withstand an energy shock. And so there is probably going to be a significant shift towards strengthening, a significant political shift towards a regime where we see yen being actively strengthened versus the current regime where they allow it to be crippled.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree with that.
Yeah,
There's
I really think. Yeah, sorry. I just really think that people haven't gamed out the amount of damage that's already been done from the events that have already happened, and it's not as simple as just flip a switch and it all just goes back the way it was. There's so much that has to change to get back to a new equilibrium, and it will be a different equilibrium than it was before.
oh yeah.
What if the Fed has to start hiking to run away from the BOJ? Oh wait, are they already doing that? Is that
Yeah,
is that
well,
why we're
yeah.
getting the hike?
Bum, bum, ba, bum. I'm going to jump a question because I think this is slightly related to that. Can you briefly discuss your thoughts on the $300 to $450 billion Iran reconstruction? There's a lot of conflicting reports saying it will be paid for by Gulf states, others saying private U.S. money, some saying U.S. taxpayer money. Are there any companies you see as benefactors to this free money?
Trump said, and I quote, fake news in regards to the US taxpayer paying the $300 billion, or well, $300 billion um fund to Iran plus the $100 billion cost of the war so far. And all I will say is that every accusation is a confession.
I was about to say, so that means the taxpayer is going to pay it, right?
Yes, it does. It does, in fact,
Yeah.
it is the most accurate signal that the US taxpayer will foot the bill for this.
Okay, so that number is sort of still in flux, but let me do this really quick. I'm just gonna say how much money was.
Yeah, I just can't. I just can't see a world in which we actually pay that.
So the TARP
I
program was
agree. He will attempt to not pay it, but then they'll
so
close the Strait of Hormuz again.
so
Right.
the TARP program paid out
Wait.
600
Hold on. Say something else negative that Trump could do to Iran. Can you think
blow
of
it up.
something? Oh, wait, hold on. That actually fixes the Strait of Hormuz problem. If he nukes it, remember when I said that? Remember I said his only way
Yeah.
out was surrender or nukes? Well, he
Yeah.
chose surrender, and he can't even do that. He can't even
So
surrender properly.
So, $634.8 billion in total taxpayer funds spent for TARP, Troubled Asset Relief Program. Okay. So, right now, we are at roughly a little under three quarters on the high side, a little under three quarters of a GFC on this.
I also want to say that
So,
the $300 billion is a starting point for the fund. It's a minimum value.
yeah, so we're at half a GFC minimum to give Iran, a state sponsor of terrorism. We're going to give them half a GFC worth of taxpayer dollars, guys. I'm stoked. This sounds fantastic. A
Yeah,
great
At
way to
least I
spend
don't own
money.
a
It's
house.
gonna be.
Fuck
It's
you.
gonna be a bloodbath.
It's going to be this is it's a blunder. It's this whole thing, we're just watching it happen in slow motion, which is a massive geopolitical blunder.
Should we play the
So,
Absolute Surrender song here? Because I feel like it's even more fitting now than when I wrote it.
I don't know.
Just timestamp this part. We've got it on file.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ron will
this is
fix it in tape. Yeah.
this is late night Vol Stars here. We're going wild. So in terms of benefactors of this free money, I mean, we got the obvious choices, right? Like Halliburton,
Oil field services companies.
yeah, Halliburton,
Yep.
Yeah, because they'll
and
need to
Halliburton.
rebuild oil infrastructure everywhere else, while Iran open and closes the Strait of Hormuz as their personal money printer.
Yeah. Just go look at who benefited from the war in Iraq, and that will tell you who's going to benefit here from this $300 billion that is never going to get paid.
Wait, hold on. No, wait, hold on. If it doesn't get paid, though, they're gonna close the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
Oh, actually, you know what? If it does get paid, they're also gonna close the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, they're gonna ask for more money.
Yeah, they're gonna
gonna be
ask for
great.
money not in dollars.
I mean,
Ooh.
it doesn't make any sense because you could probably, for much less money, build a way around using the Strait of Hormuz. Build a fucking pipeline.
Yeah, but they're gonna shoot missiles at that all day. Have you ever tried to build a pipeline where you're being actively shot at with little drones and missiles?
You know the answer is no. Why would you belittle me like? Well, you put me in that situation to look foolish live. Never been actively shot at while trying to do
in
my job.
conditions significantly worse than the ones survived to build the Panama Canal. Trump, with all of his contracting expertise, is going to build the world's largest canal between Saudi Arabia and Israel, because that'll work. And then that's going to be how we get the oil out of the Middle East.
Hold on. Holy shit, guys.
The guy who painted the fucking reflecting pool.
Yeah, see, I got a perfect
Already
plan
put
to
in
get
a
that
bid.
oil out of there. Yeah.
I'll make a big pipeline, be real long.
Oh, I can't wait for Rod to just blast that picture up when I make that. Oh, yeah.
There's a little South
oil's
Park
gonna
mouth
be
on it.
no problem, mister.
The biggest pipeline you ever saw,
No,
boss.
I've figured out the perfect plan. Hear me out. SpaceX.
I'm in.
Dork, I'm not hearing your audio, by the way. So, but SpaceX, we contract with them to build a launch pad out in the Middle East, far enough away from the missiles.
No, I love this.
And we fill it the part that isn't the rocket fuel, we fill it with oil and we shoot it into space.
Hold on.
And then we
Back
catch it.
Back
And then
it
we
up.
catch the Starship Heavy in Texas.
How do we?
The act of shooting it into space makes it free, just like it makes AI data centers free.
Hold.
Boom. Infinite free oil.
No, it makes the AI data centers cold.
No, free.
Wait, hold on. So you're gonna fill a fuel canister with fuel and shoot it at Texas.
Yeah,
you know what we could do?
Okay,
we could just
hold on. Have you ever seen?
If we want to shoot missiles at Texas, we could just give the Iranian government $450 billion. Oh, sorry. Was that on?
It's a rocket, not a missile. It's only.
Well, are those that different?
Okay, but you have to take a little bit of risk to get infinite free oil. We're shooting it into space, which makes it free, and we don't have to use the
Just so you know,
steerable
Jay Fresh, for the record, the moment you said SpaceX, I said I'm in.
Okay, let's do it. Well, I'll call Elon Musk.
I'm gonna short SpaceX. Oh wait, I already am.
Okay, so next.
I woke up at noon the day they opened the options chain and just bought puts.
I'm sure you and a lot of other people did.
It's been great.
So next question is
including
all the people that weren't selling calls.
So
it's all of the people who are currently in their lockup on their SpaceX shares bought puts.
No, they sold in the money calls.
Well, they did both.
Sure.
So this
bought in the money puts, sold in the money calls.
So speaking of incredible amounts of leverage and free money talks and overly hyped stocks, this next question comes from X. How severe is this AI bubble impact going to be? Is it 1929 once again?
No.
Yes.
No, it is. Again, I'll say the thing I said earlier in the episode, because I've also been drinking. We have no levers to pull. Like back then, we had World War II that helped get us out of it. We had FDR, which was probably the last president who really gave a shit and had the power to do something about it, which is a rare combination. And then, and now we don't have any levers to pull. Back then, we had the gold standard. We had all kinds of fucking ways to get out of this shit. Now we've used all that up.
Well,
we're just accumulating debt at an exponential rate, and we have no way to resolve any of it.
The depressing part is that our current president...
So we can make more debt. We can print more money.
We could
Who wants to buy $35 eggs?
35? That's being generous.
I know.
We could just default.
We could
what if we
default.
Just declare a global, instead of calling it default, what if we just declare a global jubilee?
There we go. Financial Festivus.
What if we just move our currency over to a central digital currency that Trump owns?
Perfect.
Trump coin?
Sure. Melania coin, maybe.
Epstein
that might be
coin.
Accepted legal tender.
Sorry, not Epstein. Sorry, Epstein doesn't exist coin.
Then we can pay $35 to buy a 1,000,000 Melania coin loaf of bread.
Yeah. Now we're talking, Girk.
Yeah. Or, I'm sorry, 35 Trump coin to buy a 1,000,000 Melania loaf of bread.
Hold on. Scandal. Melania, during Trump won, her whole campaign was like anti-bullying and be best. What is her campaign? What is she doing now?
I think her slogan is fuck all. She's working really hard on fuck all.
I think her team's just negotiating her appearance fees for showing up places with her husband.
Yes. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Do you think that they charge extra for hand-holding?
Yes. Any physical contact whatsoever, yes.
I mean, given that she's like 30 years younger than Trump or something, shouldn't she just be like looking for a new husband while she has access to all these billionaires?
What do you think she's doing?
How many more years do you think she thinks Trump has left? I mean, I know they've been putting a lot of makeup on that hand, that club hand he's got.
Well, maybe it's because Melania doesn't want to be around him, so he's just been furiously masturbating himself while posting on Truth Social.
Oh, is that why he's got
The bruises.
blood?
Yeah, that's what the
blood
hand bruises
pooling?
are.
But what about the blood pooling in his ankles? Is that just blood flow dysregulation from the constant? Does he had an erection that lasted more than 4 hours, didn't he? That's where the
Probably.
blood came from
Mhm.
in the ankles.
Now we're getting somewhere.
All right. Now we might finally be down to
Yeah,
0
absolutely.
listeners.
Nope. That one listener is
He's
still on
unflappable,
board.
or she. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily like 1929 for a lot of reasons. It has a lot of analogs to
It's at least as bad.
in terms of
worse.
It's way worse.
well, if
It's
we're
so
talking about
much
just
worse.
the AI bubble, I mean, it's pretty fucking bad. But
If we're just talking about the setup,
the whole
it's so
setup,
bad.
sure.
We were like a fiscally sound country back
Back in
then.
1929,
We had workers' rights.
it was
Yeah.
decent, but
Yeah, well, we had like a balanced
so here's the
budget and
parallel.
shit. Like we didn't have government. We didn't even have like government debt. You know,
So
like,
here's the
barely.
parallel I see between now.
We just had big piles of gold, and we were like, "Oh, if we have to pay for shit, we can
So
use
here's
that."
the parallel I see between now and 1929. So back in 1929, what kind of kicked off the big 1929 stock market run was when there was a discovery that you could take out loans to buy stock, and it was called margin. All right. And nowadays, we've realized that we can take that a step further by taking out loans to buy treasuries, to buy
Whoa,
stock,
whoa.
a loan.
Are you trying to
stock.
say that greed and leverage are the cause of self-correction in capital markets?
The thing is when the greed.
What an audacious economic theory you're presenting
So
here.
when the expectation is that growth will exceed debt, this is the whole thing, right? Happened in 2008, happened in fucking 2001, happened in 1929, happened in the fucking 70s. I mean, in the 80s. Like the expect.
In 1929, it was private debt. It wasn't the. Now we have both debt, or both
That's
debts
what I
are
mean.
fucked.
That's
In 2008, it was the public debt. In 2000, it was just overvalued stocks. In 2020, it was the public debt again. Now it's the public debt and the private debt. All the debt is fucked. You've all given your money for nothing.
Careful, Girk. Maybe our listener is an MBA. He might get really upset because he has a 401k run by a
This is why
financial advisor.
billionaires are building bunkers. They're building holes in the ground to hide in, despite being billionaires. Why would they do that? They're fucking billionaires. Huh.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm just saying, in terms, I'm trying to be a little more objective, and
You have a hole in the ground to hide in?
it's only about 6 feet deep.
You got a
It's only 6
hidey-hole,
feet
Dork?
deep and about 6
Tell
feet
us
long,
all
and about
about
3
your
feet wide,
hidey-hole.
and I'm gonna be in a wooden box in it. That's what I'm gonna hide in.
Does it have an air
No.
tube?
It's a one-way ticket. All right, I'm hiding in there and I ain't coming out. At least not on my own
Highway to
volition.
hell.
Yeah, it might be. We'll see after the end of this podcast.
Oh, you're coming out. I'll be sure to get you out of there. I'll
You're going to come out during the food wars.
There's marrow in them bones.
Actually.
Baby, you got a stew.
This next question is from Discord. Can we get an audio-only YouTube when the Spotify comes out? I don't even know what that means. Okay, no.
They want
No, the answer is no.
I can explain this.
Extra work for you, viewer.
I can explain this. They complain that the Spotify one comes out and then the YouTube one comes out later because the YouTube one has the video and it's got to be edited and posted.
Oh, are they one of those people?
And
that,
they
like,
want them
morally
to just
object
put up
to
like
Spotify?
No, they just I don't know. Maybe they don't have Spotify, but they listen to like, or maybe it's like Google Music, which is connected to YouTube. I don't know.
I'm gonna posit this for all the viewers who have an issue with X, and Spotify, and specific companies. If you have ever invested money in your entire life, you are immoral. You are an immoral person. Your morality means nothing. So just download fucking Spotify and listen to the podcast if you want to hear it early. And then if you don't want to do that, listen to it on YouTube when the video comes out.
Also, I don't know. Is YouTube like the moral
They're also
alternative to
no,
Spotify?
no. They're also not the fucking moral alternative to X or Reddit or anything else. People just don't want to go somewhere where their biases are going to get hurt.
That's why I transact all of my important business on Truth Social.
So you can just feel the burn all day.
Mm.
Oh man.
It's okay. You and Bill Gates.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Do not lump me in with that weirdo. I've never drugged my wife without her knowledge. After giving her an
Without her
STD.
knowledge.
Okay.
Have you or have you not ever gotten gonorrhea from a Russian prostitute though?
No, I have not.
Well done. You must get the clean Russian prostitutes then.
Yeah.
Like that gotcha I just did there.
This is really starting to fall
Okay,
apart.
next question from YouTube. Did Yellen crash the dollar to the shekel?
Crash is looking around like he showed up to be professional.
What was the question?
You started this episode with a segment about pig semen.
It was a play on the father as sperm donor as their major contribution to the relationship and to society. It was art.
Imagine how JD Vance's father feels.
Oh my god.
How could JD Vance's father have known that couch was fertile?
God damn it. Look, guys,
Wait until JD Vance finds out that he and his dad have fucked the same couch.
I can't wait till all three of us occupy the same cell in a concentration camp. We're gonna have
can
a
we still do this
blast.
podcast?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll have the same number. We might get more viewers.
Because they're just stuck in the cell with us.
Actually,
they literally have to listen. Also, I imagine JD Vance will put us in the cell together with that couch.
Will it be sitting on it?
He'll talk about his mother that way.
Okay, guys, hold on. Did Yellen crash the dollar to the shekel? The world's dying to find out.
Did
Crash
Yellen
the dollar
do
to
what?
the Israeli dollar, pretty much.
Oh, Yellen
Crash?
did everything in her power to support both currencies.
I mean, if you look at the price of the shekel compared to the dollar,
You're saying a sentence with words that don't go together in my head. Can you expound on what it is you're claiming?
so what they're
Yellen
saying
did?
is that
Yellen
somebody
crash?
realized that the shekel's way up, and they were like, "Oh my god, the dollar's crashed. The dollar's at all-time fucking highs."
yeah.
And it was there also when Yellen was in the treasury too.
I was the one who pointed that out.
No,
Because remember Wix earnings and their forward guidance was that they had to like fire a bunch of people because all their costs are going up because the shekel is strengthening so much relative to the dollar. I don't know. Go ask Yellen. Why are you asking us? I don't know Yellen.
what if currencies, despite Dixie's existence, what if currencies didn't all move in relation to the dollar? Has anybody considered that?
Whoa. Let's calm down, Kirk. Don't insinuate.
What if a country that already has infinite access to U.S. taxpayer dollars had a currency that was maybe, I don't know, more valuable?
Masad, if you're listening, please don't. I don't
Like,
need
what if you
to
had a
get 'em.
currency? What if you had like a country, right? And you had a currency in that country, and then also backing your currency was all of the money of all of the U.S. taxpayers.
Look, I see the laser pointers in my room
Plus
now.
your currency.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
No, and also if you look at the chart of the dollar to the shekel while Yellen was in office, this question looks kind of silly.
No, they didn't. They didn't
I
go
think
that far.
They didn't
down the
zoom out,
rabbit
you
hole.
mean?
I think most of the time Yellen in office, I think Yellen spent
Their
most of
scroll
the
wheel was
time in
broken.
that position just wondering how she got there and how she hasn't been
Correct.
fired yet.
That's kind of, I feel like that describes every Yale graduate's career.
That's correct. At least the first 15 years of it. Well,
I mean, if you're in business long enough, you're bound to pick up some basic arithmetic.
maybe. Yeah, well, with that, yeah, the question is the premise is broken. So let's move on to our favorite segment.
Stupid bets, stupid bets. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna lose?
You know who won and who lost? JFresh won.
JFresh won.
I lost the biggest.
Me and JFresh won, and then JFresh
I only
beat
lost
me.
by a small margin because my parlay was correct.
I almost won if we just stayed at the low of the week.
Yeah, well,
Mm.
suck it. That's what to say about that. So what's the
I will say though, Wednesday night I was winning for just a second.
Just the
tasted
tip.
victory? It got
Yeah.
pulled out of your mouth. Well,
Yep.
Ew.
so what's the next stupid bet gonna be, guys? More Iran stupid shit or some other stupid shit?
I wanna bet by
Oh.
the end of this week, JFresh has not posted on Truth Social.
I'm not going to post on Truth Social.
Oh.
But I do want to say we did have a stupid bet a couple weeks ago about them talking about buying like AI stakes in AI companies, and they're definitely bringing that up again this week. So that's going to be a recurring theme, I think, over
Oh,
the next
joy.
couple months. Are we going to all become bag holders, forced bag holders?
You
in
know
this
that's really
dog
great
shit?
for public opinion to give half a GFC of money to a state sponsor of terrorism, and then also probably give an entire GFC of money to the billionaires that we hate.
Another state sponsor
Right,
of terrorism.
exactly, yeah.
Aren't we the largest? Oh,
Girk,
never mind.
we already have
That's going
too far.
I
we
almost
already have
went too far.
Blackstone and
Too far.
Mossad right now are listening in on this podcast.
On our 250th
It's Blackwater.
And Blackwater
birthday.
too.
Yeah, you have rock stone water.
That's way too deep,
Yeah.
Girk. I need to, I should probably get in my bunker now. Well, the going's still good. I don't know.
All right, I don't know what we're gonna bet on. There's so many things we could bet on, but I don't know what.
Earnings bet? Earnings bet?
Huh?
No. Well, how fucked do you think FedEx is?
Ooh.
Like,
don't
it
know.
costs money to move people's packages, and that's probably money that they weren't charging when the price of oil went up and those packages were in transit. That makes me think not
I
great.
agree.
It is the most significant economic bellwether of the week besides Micron. Although Micron's not really a macroeconomic bellwether, it's more of like a sector bellwether.
Yeah, they're a bubble bellwether, a bubble weather.
Yeah,
So
they're a pin.
so do we do something with FedEx then?
I don't know. We could probably just take bets on how many times Jared Kushner has to go to Geneva over the next month.
Over the next week.
4.
Well, I mean, the G7 thing's almost over, right? So they're just going to go back to Pakistan or Qatar? Or are they going to... I mean, they can't negotiate in Iran, obviously, because boom, right? So...
So wait. Maybe the stupid bet is: does Jared Kushner touch U.S. soil this week?
No, and I hate all this.
Meet beat miss on GDP.
How about the news reports about Mythos cracking all of the NSA's secure databases continue to escalate like as we move into the Anthropic IPO. And then days before the Anthropic IPO, congratulations, Mythos is safe for public use now.
God damn it, Girk. No, you're going to be right.
I do like
Fuck
that
you.
bet, but it would take too long to play out.
It would. It would. SpaceX back to its IPO price?
I was kind of
This
thinking
week?
that, actually. I was thinking
Ooh.
about SpaceX.
Okay.
Might as well, right?
Okay.
I don't know if you
I
know this, but
kinda-
they started selling puts.
Wow.
And
I
calls.
know. I figured they would. I think we're going to go back to IPO price and trade flat at it like I thought we would since before it IPO'd. Let's do it.
It's almost like every IPO starts off real strong until the options market opens and then it tanks.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting, huh?
It's crazy. It's crazy how that just happens over and over and over.
It's almost like the
again.
options market dictates a
Yeah.
lot of price action in the equity market. Huh. Who would have figured, especially with popular names?
Have you guys
Yeah, it's
seen
almost like it's a...
CoreWeave insiders slowly bailing on the stock over the last like 3 months?
I'm not shocked.
Haven't they already sold most of their holdings already?
Yeah, but they're getting rid of the rest of them. It keeps like rallying to Gamma Max and then crashing back to.
Funny.
And weirdly, each of those rallies is slightly lower than the one before it.
Curious.
Hmm.
Well. Okay, so SpaceX IPO price.
What do you do when
Stupid bet?
What do you? Yeah, I like that one.
Okay. Here's what.
I wanna say no,
No, not back to IPO price.
no, not this week.
Okay.
Although I did suggest that path, I tricked you guys. Get fucked.
Yeah, but you answered first, so...
Yeah, put the cart before the horse there, Girk. Get wrecked.
I
should
could be
just all
more
go no.
specific. I think it'll go to 168.35 and then rally back up to a slightly lower high.
Like 200? Or like what high? What high are we talking here?
You missed a perfect opportunity to say it'll go down to 169.
213.
213. Hmm.
Yeah.
I like how
Right.
you're doing the Elon Musk hands for that one. 213. 230.
Okay. So you're going to say no, and then you're also going to say, I don't know. We'll see what happens next of All Stars, but okay. So you're saying above. What are you saying, Jay Fresh?
Well, I know you're going to say at, so I'm going to say below. I'm going to say like 131.
Okay.
Oh, that's below.
Yeah.
Oh, $4 below the IPO price. You don't think it would bounce off 135? I thought you would have said like 150.
I think it'll wick a little bit.
Yeah, I think the bottom wick is going to be at let's just call it 128.74. Golly.
Back to 210.
Yeah, of
after
course.
that?
No, 275. Within the week.
Just super high vol. Okay, so you're basically saying that like all the short vol positioning is just going to get completely blown out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, at least once. Everybody gets one.
Okay. Yeah, I don't hate it.
Why not? Come on, this is the American stock market. The numbers don't matter at all. Like I said at the beginning, the price of SpaceX literally doesn't matter. So why not? Let's do it.
No.
Fuck it. We ball. You got all that, Ron?
Yeah, no. I mean, my whole joke about launching the oil into space so that we can get it for free like, and I was saying this before the SpaceX IPO, is like, you're insane if you're going to short this thing. The people who are buying the IPO believe that if you shoot NVIDIA GPUs into space, they become free. And you're going to short that?
Yeah, no, seriously, it's nothing matters. As weird as it feels, once you accept that nothing matters, you finally love Big Brother. Okay? So, yeah.
Doctor Strangelove, baby.
I was thinking 1984, but yeah.
I like where
How
we've
I
landed
learned to
on that.
stop worrying and love the bomb.
All right. Well, we got our bets in. Yeah,
Ron's trying
it's
to go to
fucking
bed.
midnight. Let's wrap it up.
All right, thanks, guys. Play us out, Ron.